Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Please subscribe to the channel and also please do like and share and leave your suggestions in the comment section. The events of 29 September 2024 are followed. Bengali date 12 Aশ্বিন 1431 As per Beni Madhavsil Ponjika, today's Tithi is Krishna Dadoshi and up to 1754 hours, and after that Krishna Troyodoshi. Today's Nakshatra, Aslesha Nakshatra, and up to 0616 hours, and after that Moha Nakshatra. Today is 273rd day of the year. There are then 93 days left in 2024. Today is 39th Sunday of 2024. Today is Moha Shraddha. Moha Shraddha is done during Pitru Paksha when Moha Nakshatra prevails during Aparanna Kala. If Moha Nakshatra prevails partially during Aparanna Kala on 2 days, then the day when it prevails for longer duration is considered. If both Moha Nakshatra and Troyodashi Tithi prevail during Aparanna on the same day, then it is known as Moha Troyodashi Shraddha. Nakshatra Moha is significant during Pitru Paksha because it is ruled by Pitri, the spirits of the departed ancestors. Pitru Paksha Shraddhas are Parvan Shraddhas. An auspicious time to perform them is either Kutub Muhurat and Rohina, etc. Muhurat after that till Aparanna Kala gets over. Tarpon is done at the end of the Shraddha. Today is World Heart Day. World Heart Day annual observance and celebration held on September 29 that is intended to increase public awareness of cardiovascular diseases, including their prevention and their global impact. The World Heart Federation, the organization behind this initiative, has said it will campaign under the theme of Use Heart for Action from 2024. The date was changed in 2012 to September 29. The change was meant to improve the level of participation and awareness of the activities regarding heart health. The date of the actual event was designated to be September 29, the anniversary of the formation of the WHF in 1978. The British Mandate in Palestinian. Set in motion by the Balfour Declaration of 1917, the British mandate for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine was finally approved by the Council of the League of Nations and came into force this day in 1923. Today is death anniversary of Mr. William Einthoven, 21st May 1860 to 29 September 1927. William Einthoven was a Dutch medical doctor and physiologist. He invented the first practical electrocardiograph (ECG or EKG) in 1895 and received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1924 for it, for the discovery of the mechanism of the electrocardiogram. For his discovery of the mechanism of the electrocardiogram, Einthoven was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1924. During his acceptance of the great honor, he modestly acknowledged the contributions of many others who had helped make the work possible. Today is death anniversary of Miss Matangani Hajra, 19th October 1870 to 29 September 1942. Matangani Hajra was an Indian revolutionary who participated in the Indian independence movement. She was leading one of the 5 batches of volunteers of the Vidyut Bahini, constituted by the Samar Parishad War Council at Tamluk to capture the Tamluk police station on 29 September 1942, when she was shot dead by the British Indian police in front of the police station, became the first Quit India movement martyr in Midnapur. He was a staunch Gandhian and was fondly called as Gandhi Buri, Bengali for Old Lady Gandhi. Today is death anniversary of Miss Balamuni Amma, 19 July 1909 to 29 September 2004. Nalapad Balamuni Amma was an Indian poet who wrote in Malayalam. Amma Muthasai and Majubinte Katha are some of her well-known works. She was a recipient of many awards and honors, including the Padma Bhushan, Saraswati Samman, Sahitya Academy Award, and Viduthu Chan Award. She was the mother of writer Kamala Suraya. Today is death anniversary of Miss Katsuko Saruhasi, 22nd March 1920 to 29 September 2007. Katsuko Saruhasi was a Japanese geochemist who created tools that let her take some of the first measurements of carbon dioxide (CO2) levels in seawater. She later showed evidence of the dangers of radioactive fallout and how far it can travel. Along with this focus on safety, she also researched peaceful uses of nuclear power. The other major area of significance involved raising the number and status of women scientists, especially in Japan. She established both the Society of Japanese Women Scientists and the Saruhasi Prize, which is awarded annually to a female scientist who serves as a role model for younger women scientists. Among her other honors, she was the first woman elected to the Science Council of Japan to earn a doctorate in chemistry from the prestigious University of Tokyo and to win the Miyake Prize for Geochemistry. Today is death anniversary of Mr. George Charpak, 1st August 1924 to 29 September 2010. Georges Charpak was a Polish-born French physicist who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1992. In 1968, Georges Charpak developed the multi-wire proportional chamber, which represented a more effective way of detecting particles. The multi-wire chamber contains many parallel metal wires surrounded by gas. Between the chamber's walls and the threads, an electrical charge is introduced. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Enrico Fermi, 29 September 1901 to 28 November 1954. Enrico Fermi was an Italian and naturalized American physicist, renowned for being the creator of the world's first artificial nuclear reactor, the Chicago Pile 1, and a member of the Manhattan Project. He has been called the architect of the nuclear age and the architect of the atomic bomb. He was one of very few physicists to excel in both theoretical physics and experimental physics. Fermi was awarded the 1938 Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on induced radioactivity by neutron bombardment and for the discovery of tensorium elements. With his colleagues, Fermi filed several patents related to the use of nuclear power, all of which were taken over by the US government. He made significant contributions to the development of statistical mechanics, quantum theory, and nuclear and particle physics. Fermi's first major contribution involved the field of statistical mechanics. After Wolfgang Pauli formulated his exclusion principle in 1925, Fermi followed with a paper in which he applied the principle to an ideal gas, employing a statistical formulation now known as Fermi-Dirac statistics. Today, particles that obey the exclusion principles are called fermions. Pauli later postulated the existence of an uncharged invisible particle emitted along with an electron during beta decay. To satisfy the law of conservation of energy, Fermi took up this idea, developing a model that incorporated the postulated particle, which he named the neutrino. His theory later referred to as Fermi's interaction and now called weak interaction, described one of the four fundamental interactions in nature. Through experiments introducing radioactivity with the recently discovered neutrons, Fermi discovered that slow neutrons were more easily captured by atomic nuclei than fast ones, and he developed the Fermi age equation to describe this. After bombarding thorium and uranium with slow neutrons, he concluded that he had created new elements. Although he was awarded the Nobel Prize for this discovery, the new elements were later revealed to be nuclear fission products. Fermi left Italy in 1938 to escape new Italian racial laws that affected his Jewish wife, Laura Capone. He emigrated to the United States, where he worked on the Manhattan Project during World War II. Fermi led the team at the University of Chicago that designed and built Chicago Pile 1, which went critical on 2nd December 1942, demonstrating the first human-created self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. He was on hand when the X-10 graphite reactor at Oak Ridge, Tennessee went critical in 1943, and when the B reactor at the Hanford site did so the next year. At Los Alamos, he headed F Division, part of which worked on Edward Taylor's thermonuclear superbomb. He was present at the Trinity test on 16 July 1945, the first test of a full nuclear bomb explosion, where he used his Fermi method to estimate the bomb's yield. After the war, he helped establish the Institute for Nuclear Studies at Chicago and served on the General Advisory Committee, chaired by J. Robert Oppenheimer, which advised the Atomic Energy Commission on nuclear matters after the detonation of the first Soviet fission bomb in August 1949. He strongly opposed the development of a hydrogen bomb on both moral and technical grounds. He was among the scientists who testified on Oppenheimer's behalf at the 1954 hearing that resulted in the denial of Oppenheimer's security clearance. Fermi did important work in particle physics, especially related to pions and muons, and he speculated that cosmic rays arose when material was accelerated by magnetic fields in interstellar space. Many awards, concepts, and institutions are named after Fermi, including the Fermi 1 Breda reactor, Enrico Fermi Nuclear Generating Station, the Enrico Fermi Award, the Enrico Fermi Institute, the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory, Fermi Lab, the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope, the Fermi Paradox, and the synthetic element fermium, making him one of 16 scientists who have elements named after them. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Peter Dennis Mitchell, 29 September 1920 to 10th April 1992. Peter Dennis Mitchell, FRS, was a British biochemist who was awarded the 1978 Nobel Prize for Chemistry for his theory of the chemiosmotic mechanism of ATP synthesis. Mitchell was able to determine how the different enzymes involved in the conversion of ATP to ATP are distributed within the membranes that had partitioned the interior of the mitochondrion. He showed how these enzymes arrangement facilitates their use of hydrogen ions as an energy source in the conversion of ADP to ATP. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. James Watson Cronin, 29 September 1931 to 25th August 2016. James Watson Cronin was an American particle physicist. Cronin and co-researcher Val Logsdon each were awarded the 1980 Nobel Prize in Physics for a 1964 experiment that proved that certain subatomic reactions do not adhere to fundamental symmetry principles. Specifically, they proved by examining the decay of counts that a reaction run in reverse does not merely retrace the path of the original reaction. We showed that the interactions of subatomic particles are not invariant under time reversal. Thus, the phenomenon of CP violation was discovered. Cronin received the Ernest Orlando Lawrence Award in 1976 for major experimental contributions to particle physics, including fundamental work on weak interactions, culminating in the discovery of asymmetry under time reversal. In 1999, he was awarded the National Medal of Science. Cronin was Professor Emeritus at the University of Chicago, winning the prestigious Quantrill Award and a spokesperson emeritus for the Auger Project. He was a member of the board of sponsors of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. 1941 Babi Yar Massacre. About 33,000 Soviet Jews were killed at the Babi Yar ravine in Kiev by the Nazis in two-day massacre that started on this day. 1954 CERN established. The European Organization for Nuclear Research, popularly known as CERN, was established by 12 European governments. 1962 First Canadian satellite. Canada launched its first ever satellite, Alute-1, on this day from the Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, United States. A joint venture between NASA and Defense Research and Development Canada. The satellite was sent to study the Earth's ionosphere. 1991 Coup in Haiti. President Jean-Bertrand Aristide was deposed in a military coup. Aristide had been elected in a national election held 8 months before the coup. 1994 Sinking of MS Estonia. MS Estonia, a passenger and a car ferry, sank in the Baltic Sea, killing more than 800 passengers. It is considered to be the worst maritime peacetime disaster of the 20th century. Today's, that is 29th September, highlight in history. 1714. The Cossacks of the Russian Empire kill about 800 people overnight in Haulotu during the Great Wrath. 1717. An earthquake strikes Antigua, Guatemala, destroying much of the city's architecture. 1724. J.S. Bach leads to the first performance of Hargoth Dich Leben LA where BWV 130 for the Feast of Archangel Michael based on Paul Eber's hymn in 12 stanzas. 1789. The United States Department of War first establishes a regular army with a strength of several hundred men. 1829. The Metropolitan Police of London, later also known as the Met, is founded. 1848. The Battle of Papoz is a stalemate between Hungarian and Croatian forces and is the first battle of the Hungarian Revolution. 1850. The Papal Bull University Ecclesiae restores the Roman Catholic hierarchy in England and Wales. 1955. The Philippine port of Iloilo is opened to world trade by the Spanish administration. 1864. The Battle of Chapin's Farm is fought in the American Civil War. 1864. The Treaty of Lisbon defines the boundaries between Spain and Portugal and abolishes the Couto-Misto microstate. 1885. The first practical public electric tramway in the world is opened in Blackpool, England. 1907. The cornerstone is laid at the Cathedral Church of St. Peter and St. Paul, better known as Washington National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. 1911. Italy declares war on the Ottoman Empire. 1918. Bulgaria signs the Armistice of Salonika, ending its participation in World War One. 1918. The Hindenburg Line is broken by an Allied attack in World War One. 1918. Germany's Supreme Army Command tells Kaiser Wilhelm II and Imperial Chancellor George Michaelis to open negotiations for an armistice to end World War One. 1920. Ukrainian War of Independence. The Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic agreed to a truce with the Makhnovsky-Sichina. 1923. The mandate for Palestine takes effect, creating mandatory Palestine. 1923. The mandate for Syria and Lebanon takes effect. 1923. The first American track and field championships for women are held. 1932. Last day of the Battle of Buchanan between Paraguay and Bolivia during the Chaco War. 1940. Two Avro and Sons collide in mid-air over New South Wales, Australia, remain locked together, then land safely. 1941. During World War II, German forces, with the aid of local Ukrainian collaborators, begin the two-day Babi Yar massacre. 1954, the convention establishing CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, is signed. 1957, the Kistim disaster is the third worst nuclear accident ever recorded. 1959, a Lockheed L-188 Electra crashes in Buffalo, Texas, killing 34 people. 1971, woman joins the Arab League. 1972, Japan establishes diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China after breaking official ties with the Republic of China. 1975, WGPR becomes the first black-owned and operated television station in the US. 1979, the dictator Francisco Macias of Equatorial Guinea is executed by soldiers from Western Sahara. 1981, an Iranian Air Force Lockheed C-130 Hercules military transport aircraft crashes into a firing range near Ganijak, Iran, killing 80 people. 1988, NASA launches STS-26, the first space shuttle mission since the Challenger disaster. 1990, construction of the Cathedral Church of Saint Peter and Saint Paul, better known as Washington National Cathedral, is completed in Washington, D.C. 1990, the YF-22, which would later become the F-22 Raptor, flies for the first time. 1990, the Tampere Hall, the largest concert and congress center in the Nordic countries, is inaugurated in Tampere, Finland. 1991, a Haitian coup defeat occurs. 1992, Brazilian President Fernando Collor de Mello is impeached. 2004, the asteroid 4179 230 passes within 4 lunar distances of Earth. 2004, Bart Rutan's Ansari Spaceship 1 performs a successful spaceflight, the first of two required to win the Ansari X Prize. 2005, John Roberts is confirmed as Chief Justice of the United States. 2006, a Boeing 737 and an Embraer 600 collide in mid-air, killing 154 people and triggering a Brazilian aviation crisis. 2007, Kallar Hall, the world's first commercial nuclear power station, is demolished in a controlled explosion. 2008, the stock market crashes after the first United States House of Representatives vote on the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act fails during the beginning stages of the Great Recession. 2009, the 8.1 MW Samoa earthquake results in a tsunami that kills over 189 and injures hundreds. 2011, the Special Court in India convicted all 269 accused officials for atrocity on Dalits and 17 for rape in Bachati case. 2013, over 42 people are killed by members of Boko Haram at the College of Agriculture in Nigeria. 2016, 11 days after the Uri attack, the Indian Army conducts surgical strikes against suspected militants in Pakistani-administered Kashmir. 2019, violence and low turnout marks the 2019 Afghan presidential election. Thank you very much for your patience.